place in the Europa League final is at stake for West Ham and Eintracht Frankfurt as we attempt to pull off a turnaround in the second leg of the semi-finals of the Europa League. The Germans stunned West Ham, you could say, last week by snatching a 2-1 first leg victory to kick off the semi-final meeting. Jared Bowen hitting the woodwork twice for West Ham, and it was an unbelievable attempt the second time round. But Eintracht have continued to struggle domestically and dropped to 11th in the Bundesliga ahead of the clash after a defeat to Bayer Leverkusen prolonged their winless run in the league to 7 games. But West Ham aren't faring much better at the moment, with our heroics at Lyon in the last round, our only win in 7 across all competitions. Welcome back to the West Ham Network. Hope you are all keeping well and safe. And it is the eve of the biggest game of our modern history. And I feel like I'm saying that every single day on the lead up to this game, but fully focused on the Europa League, I am. And I think we all are. It's, taking up so much time, mindset, you name it. I'm seeing all the fans traveling out there, and I want everyone to have a safe journey and sing loud and proud. I'm totally jealous of you all. And I just think, it's a great opportunity for West Ham and the fans to go and enjoy themselves and stamp the authority on Europe and let them know that West Ham have arrived and we're here to stay. And that's the biggest thing for me, is now West Ham are here to stay in the European competition. We are on the 4th of May. We're on the 4th of May and we're still in Europe, and we're still trying to challenge for some form of European football from the domestic league and the Premier League. So it's really, really exciting times. Join me later on. We're going to go fully in depth about the preview when it comes to Frankfurt, which we'll have at 9 p.m. tonight. We've got a Frankfurt fan coming on as well, so you'll really get a nice insight into what they're kind of thinking, because obviously, like I've mentioned, domestically, they're not doing well. They slipped down to 11th place in the Bundesliga, so that's going to be their main focus, is the Europa League, just like West Ham's main focus is. But do you think we're capable of turning over that deficit that we've got from the first leg? I've put the link in the chat if you're interested in coming on. We're going to give everyone about 5-10 minutes each just to come on and give me your opinion. This is your opportunity now to come on and just have a brief word. And listen, if you don't want to come on in the camera, there's an option. You can turn the camera off and you can come on in voice only and get your opinion across. So I have put that in the chat, the link. And if you want to click that, all you need to do is click that, follow the instructions, and you come through and you go into the green room, and then I'll bring you through onto the screen when you want to have a chin wag about, anything to do with West Ham. I can see loads of people in the chat. James, you're there. Sharky, Gaza, Martin, Dangerous Sod, Scott Venn. I've just seen you over there, and Forge from Iron. So if you are interested, click that link and come in and have a chat with me. We're only good, like I said, I've got the 5-minute timer set up there, ready to go. And we'll just get a quick chin wag about the game and how you're feeling on the lead up to the game. Now, like I said, we are going to go a little bit more in depth as we go along moving forward for the rest of the day. We've got so many shows coming up left, right, and centre. There's so many updates on West Ham, as you can imagine, because it is the silly season. But just giving you some updates on West Ham and Frankfurt. Ndikia and Jakic should return for Eintracht after missing the first leg through suspension. Issa Diop, who was on the bench for West Ham as we lost to Arsenal at the weekend, is now back in contention. Craig Dawson is back in the team after obviously being suspended for the Arsenal game in the Premier League. And it's probably expected that we'll see Craig Dawson and Zuma, who was a surprise inclusion last week as well. And I know there's loads of people just joining now. And if you are, you can click on that link that I've put in the chat. And if you want to come on and join us. But we pulled off a stunning away day masterclass at Lyon last month. But you could say, are Eintracht a more, a stronger unit, a stronger team? Lyon and Eintracht Frankfurt, do you want to compare the leagues? Do you want to compare the French league to the German league? For me, on paper, I think the German league trumps the French league. But they're talking about two reputable teams here that have been struggling domestically in the league. And, nobody would have anticipated that we'd have gone away in the second leg and destroyed Lyon like we did. So I wonder if sometimes turning up for the second leg as a West Ham fan, as West Ham, the second leg, albeit it's away, we've had the opportunity to really look into the depth of how Frankfurt set up. And I wonder if that does West Ham, you know, doesn't matter. The 2-leg games are the games that get West Ham going. They get an opportunity to source what their threat is. Because let's be honest here, Lindstrom was a quality player for them, and there is a rumor that he might not be available for Frankfurt. He was the ball carrying midfielder. He drove the ball forwards. He was able to spray the ball left, right, and center. So, you know, I just think that are there comparisons between Frankfurt? Are there comparisons between Lyon, etc. as well? But I'm going to bring on our first guest for this afternoon, and that is Mr. Andy Milesy. How you doing, my man? You all right?
Yeah, not bad, BUDGIE.
Yeah, good, mate. Thanks for joining me, mate. You keeping well? You excited, buzzing? How you feeling? Nervous? What are you going through, mate?
Mixed emotions, mate, to be honest. Mixed emotions. I keep saying it after every round, it's our biggest game in our recent history, and then we turn up, and I've just got this magical feeling that we'll do the same again. I think in Moyes we trust, and I can see us. It's going to be stressful watching it, but I reckon a 2-0 win.
Yeah, mate. I mean, you know what? The first leg, I just said then, I don't know if you heard what I was saying, but I sometimes feel that these 2 legs seem to be reasonably a good thing for West Ham, because the first game we play is an opportunity for us to really dissect what the opposition are all about. And then as we go into the second leg, David Moyes is working his magic with the team and going, this is how we can get them. And maybe the opposition look at West Ham and think, well, if that's what they're going to do in the first leg, we're going to treat the second leg exactly like the first leg. And that's where Moyes does his tactical decisions and plays all the games, doesn't it?
Yeah, Fredericks had a great game against Arsenal. I think it goes very unnoticed, and it's like, if we could unleash him on the right-hand side and pace, I think that will surprise them as well, because they'll probably think Johnson or Seafield's playing. And I know Fredericks is not everyone's cup of tea, but it's the same as Yarmolenko. He could become an unsung hero. Do you know what I mean? And be the answer we're looking for. And his crossing is not the best. He's not the best, but he knows how to whip a ball in. He done it a couple of times on Sunday. So I believe it's that. And it wouldn't surprise me if Mr. Mark Noble plays some part of the game, because that's the thing what we lacked in the first leg was keeping the ball. I was very surprised with the substitution of Lanzini going off, but in my opinion, if Noble come on and we went in as a 3, I think we could have kept the ball better.
Yeah. But do you think that this moment in history, Andy, I mean, these guys are 1 game away from playing in a Europa League final? It's the same for Frankfurt. Let's not beat about the bush here. This is the same situation for them. But for West Ham to go ahead and make history, you know, the players and their mindsets must be so focused on what the end goal is. We need to go out there, and from the off, we need to turn over this deficit, Andy. We have to turn over this deficit. We can't sit back and let them come at us, but then equally, we can't sit back or attack and allow them to come in on the counter all the time. So it's like, what tactics are we going to play? Because we have to go for it, and Frankfurt know at some point we're going to have to go for it, because we need to turn over this deficit.
I think set pieces is key still. I know our set pieces were poor last Thursday, but we've done it in Lyon as well. I think if we get the set pieces right, not put it under the goalkeeper. So I would go for outswingers. So I would have Fornals on the right, for example, and Crezo on the left. When you outswing the ball, it makes the goalkeeper a lot harder to come out and get the ball. And I think that's where we could cause the damage as well, because that's what cost us on Sunday, the lack of height. And the return of Souček, Zuma, well, obviously Zuma and Dawson, Rice, Antonio, that looks a whole lot better than only 2 players above 6 foot, what we had on Sunday.
Well, do you know what I've actually noticed a lot recently is Fornal's corners have been whipped in right on top of the goalkeeper, or sometimes in front of the goalkeeper. And in actual fact, he's a very good corner taker, like he is. And we've gone through so many years of having players that we've wasted so many of those opportunities, and you feel like you've got such strong threats, like you said, from set pieces, that we need to be taking advantage of them. And I think that's, you know, I'm not saying that's how we're going to win the game. I think that will help the game, because I think we're definitely a threat going forward. But Dawson, the likes of Dawson, they've not saw players like Dawson before. You know, no holds barred, gets his nose bashed in and week out, Andy. But these players will be sitting there thinking, I can't believe we're about to go ahead and make history here, one game away from the Europa League final. And at that stage, then winning a European trophy and then qualifying for the Champions League, Andy. Is it a dream that's going to fade and die, or is it a dream that we can realistically see, mate?
No, everyone thought in the Seville game that we had no chance in the second leg. Even in Lyon, certain aspect after that sending off and everything. I've not really done too much research. I don't know who the referee is tomorrow. Obviously, the referee can play some serious part. Yeah. But no, I think we're going to get the job done, mate. I think, you know what? The defeat is like the Sevilla game. I think this can play to our advantage. I think if we win, example, 2-2 or 2-1, I think the tactics and the selection will be all different. The fact that we know what we need to do can be an advantage for us instead of Frankfurt, if you know what I mean, as well. Yeah,
absolutely. The Antonio saga continues. I mean, he got a goal against Frankfurt in the home leg, albeit it was, you know, I don't even know if he knew he really put the ball in the back of the net, but he did, and he got the goal. Is that going to give him a bit of confidence going into this game, playing away from home and having the fans on his back?
Yeah, if you think of the Lyon game away from home, didn't really score, but caused a nuisance, create the space for the players. Yeah. So I think he'll do that. I remember Sevilla at home. I think the fact that is the only striker we are expecting goals, but it doesn't really matter. If we're getting the results and he's not scoring, but he's playing a part, then I don't really think you can criticise him.
Yeah, you're right, mate. Yeah. And I think I was actually watching Fortune Irons. If you're new around here or whatever, go across and check them out. And obviously go and check out Andy's channel as well. Plug the channel, mate. Go for it. Let people know.
Yeah, you can find me on West Ham United. A little bit different. And I'm not going to lie, the content has dried up a little bit, but it's coming back. I've got a few more series coming up. So yeah, like and subscribe.
Yeah, absolutely do. But when it comes to, like you said, they were talking about the Antonio effect, and we had David Cross on, Psycho, on last week and talking in preparation for the first leg. And what he was saying was, as a striker, looking at what Antonio does, it's absolutely everything that I would want from a striker. In actual fact, I would be bringing in a striker to play alongside him because he would do all the donkey work. You just need the finisher that can put the ball into the back of the net. He said he would love to have played alongside him week in and week out because he would have done all the legwork. And he said he probably would have walked away scoring another 50, 60 goals in his career for West Ham if he had the Antonio striker. But what we are seeing is Jared Bowen. I mean, what a fantastic season he's having, Andy. He's getting far forward. He you know, my niece, I was talking to my niece today, and she's fallen back in love with football again. She said, what is it about Jared Bowen? Why is he an exceptional player? Why is what is it that's happened to him to bring him so at the forefront of it, of the situation? I mean, what do you think it is? And do you think there's anything in him playing further forward? And what does that add to West Ham?
I think what's happening off the pitch, you're probably going to laugh, probably helping the situation as well.
One's on fire.
Yeah, but he's at home, he's comfortable. And I think when a player, like, obviously that would be like the same for you. If you move down to London, it will be a culture shock, wouldn't it? It'll take you a time to adjust, and your performance will. But I think London's his home now. His determination and hunger has been outstanding as well. The thought of being called is being talked about for England as well. I think that's motivating him. And it's just Moyes and his backroom staff. I think Nevin, obviously being in the England setup again, is helping him as well, telling him what he needs to improve. And hopefully, like what Declan Rice done, once he plays for England, he'll get to that extra level playing with better players.
Yeah, absolutely. Paul Parkinson's in the chat. He says, cannot defend, cannot score more than one goal. No chance, sorry to say. What do you think from that? I mean, I get why some people are maybe feeling a bit negative because of, I understand people's frustration from not, building in the summer or building in the winter, but we are where we are, Paul. That's the situation where I'm at. The faith is in Moyes, and I've just had the chat with someone else talking about Sebastian Haller. Like, we all know if you feed Sebastian Haller, he scores goals, but we didn't feed Sebastian Haller, so he didn't work within our system. So for me, it's a case of, you know, would we be where we are if we had Sebastian Haller leading the line? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure, Andy. I mean, I don't know what you think.
The fact that saying that we can't defend and cannot score, who would have thought that we would knock Man City out the Carabao Cup, beat Liverpool, Chelsea, who else did we beat? Tottenham at home. Like we're a good side and we give a match. And in my opinion, I think we play better against the better sides and being under pressure. So I think that assumption probably needs to be done after the game. The can't defending, if sort of going back to the Arsenal game, if Dawson and Souček are playing, them goals don't happen. That just proves how crucial they are to this setup. So I can sort of agree and disagree on that comment.
And going on to the Souček situation, you know, you're hearing rumours this week talking about Juventus sniffing around. Conte's a fan of him. We all know he's not going to Spurs. And the kind of the deal to give him an extra contract or contract extension is hit a bit of a you know, a barrier just now. But I don't doubt for a second that he's going to sign the contract and he's going to stay with West Ham for another season. How important and vital do you think Souček is to this team, mate? Honestly, or do you not think he is?
He is and he isn't, mate. But in my opinion, he doesn't have competition no more.
Yeah,
like no disrespect to him. I think like there's rumours obviously circulating. I wouldn't pay that amount of money. I think I can't remember what channel was talking about James Ward-Prowse, and there's rumours obviously 60 to 75 million. But I think if we offered 50 million, I know that's a lot of our budget. But if we offered someone like him and actually play with a midfield three, like the top sides do, the Liverpools and Man Cities, and imagine James Ward-Prowse playing with Declan Rice and Souček as the three. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but when you can then take, because Souček doesn't know what he's doing as a two. I think as a three we'll even see a better Declan Rice than what we've got now as well. I think we may need to.
Well, in actual fact, when we first brought Tommy Souček in on loan, we actually saw him playing in a kind of triangle effect with Mark Noble, Declan Rice, and Tommy Souček, and it was the kind of start of West Ham progressing to do a bit better, you know, and it did actually work quite well. It suited Mark Noble because he had that protection. If one went forward, the other one sat in. And I think that's why you're seeing a lot of rumours of West Ham looking at players, apparently Calvin Phillips, or you're hearing about links of James Ward-Prowse, because I don't doubt for a second Moyes is looking at players who can come in and take over the first team position. But if we are going to be playing European football, Andy, all these players are going to get game time, unless your name is Alex Kroll, of course. But most of these players are going to get as much game time as they possibly can. Mikey is saying could be a very edgy game, but if we start with high pressure and high intensity, I don't think they'll be able to handle it. From what you saw in the first leg, Andy, do you think West Ham can get at Frankfurt?
Yes, I can. If you look at it, if you look at all of the knockout games, we've played crap in the first leg, and in the second, then we've come out firing. I think Ryan alluded on West Ham Fan TV. It's like Moyes sort of uses the first leg as like poker. What kind of hand is he going to do? And then he does a magic solution for the second leg. So I fear them. I think they'll get a goal, but I think we've got enough to get through.
Yeah, I do. I think when I look at the way that Frankfurt set up, I don't doubt for a second they are a very good football inside, because I think when you look at their goals and the opportunity they had when they hit the post, that it was a proper footballing, tactical, you know, bit of play. They played really good football, good passing. They penetrated our defense. Yes, we were caught ball watching, but apart from that, what I saw when we were attacking was we really caused them a lot of concerns. They really didn't know how to handle our forward line. And I think if we can shore up our defense to make sure that we don't ball watch, because they've got clever players who react to ball watching defenders, then we can really get at them. And that's the thing I've taken away from the first leg is I think we hit the post, 4 times? Jared Bowen hit it twice. Ben Rama hit it once. We obviously got a goal. But there was other occasions in that game we were getting at them and they looked like they panicked. And I think that it's a dog-eat-dog world, isn't it? This is the second leg. This next game now is everything for both these teams. And both of them need to do something in this game to go. So it's got the potential to be a high-scoring game, low score. I don't know. What are you thinking in terms of your predictions, Andy?
Sorry, Anton, my signal's going, so I'm going to turn my camera off and see if you can still hear me. All right.
Yeah,
Sorry, I don't
fine.
want to lose you when I'm talking about it. So, hang on 1 second.
Yep, I've still got you, Andy. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So if you looked at Villarreal yesterday, tomorrow night, why can't we get in the first half and get them 2 goals what we desperately need? And then, but with us, we've got a goalkeeper and we know how to defend. So I think the first goal, if we get the first goal, I think we'll go on to win the tie. But I'm still not concerned if we concede first either.
Yeah, absolutely. Dangerous Sod is saying, I was scared of Sevilla and Lyon more than Frankfurt. Mikey is saying the same. I was more worried about Lyon, to be honest. I think I was probably more worried about Lyon because I wasn't sure how West Ham would travel in the second leg away from home. But after witnessing what we saw West Ham step up. Bless me.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
I mean, do you think the same, Andy? Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, mate, I think a lot of players will. I think Declan Rice, obviously, his experience hurting the Euros in the summer. He'd want a trophy and use his experience.
Yeah.
I think Kevin Nolan. I think the backroom stuff. It's just going to be one big journey, and I'm so I'm not nervous. I just got this feeling that we're just going to turn up. Like I know. I said last week we were going to win 3-0, and I think that was probably a bit more of a dreamland question. But now it's going to be gritty. It's going to be like a relegation battle. I think so. Like whoever wins, it is, isn't it? Whoever wins gets the prize. So.
I think that's the thing. I mean, when I listen to this comment here, I wonder if they'll change their setup because they don't really need to score. Do you not think that if that would suit West Ham better? And I know normally sometimes when West Ham have most of the possession, it doesn't really suit us sometimes. But for this particular game, and we know that the Frankfurt fans, I mean, it's going to be such an intense atmosphere at the stadium. But we know if we can get an early goal, their fans can get on their back. And that's how we can start to build to try to go ahead and push forward and get the victory. Because obviously 1 goal takes us to extra time, 2 goals gets us the victory. That's the realistic. That's where we're at. But do you think if they change, do you think they will change their tactics? I mean, there's rumors that Lindstrom, who was very instrumental in their midfield, will not be playing for the game tomorrow night. And how much of a loss would that be for such a playmaker of a player for Frankfurt?
Yeah, I would play a 3. I really would, and I think I'm probably going to get criticised. I would literally start Noble tomorrow as a 3, just to beef it up in there. If you think they were doing 1 or 2 passes and they were through of us on goal, and that will release Declan Rice, who we know can run with the ball. It'll probably see Lanzini drop out. And I think if we have Noble in there, even for the first half an hour, like you said, nick a goal, and then we can bring on the other players who we need and get the result we want.
Yeah, absolutely. If Fredericks, like you mentioned earlier on,
getting even worse. Right.
That's fine, mate. Like you said earlier on, if Fredericks had a good game in the, but if he doesn't feature in the game tomorrow, I mean, what you've said there about playing 3 in the midfield, what effect does that have for the rest of the team then? What can you see behind them? Can you see, and who steps out of position if they play the 3 and if Noble is starting from the start? Like, how do you see that being built up?
The extra man in the midfield will allow a Bowen or Fornals or Antonio to stay up close with them. So if you have 2 players more upfield, which will allow more space, Antonio and Bowen can stretch, and if they're on either side of the pitch, that will then open the space for a Fornals or, like you said, either a Bowen or Antonio to latch onto the space because they'll be pulling the defenders all over the place.
Yeah, absolutely. Andy, if you're struggling with signal, mate, thank you so much for joining us. Stay safe.
Yeah, I'm in the part of Surrey. So I'm in the part of Surrey at the minute. That's why.
If anyone doesn't know, because you can't see Andy just now, but he was on earlier on. He was on Sky Sports earlier on before the first leg. So keep your eyes on the mainstream media, and you might be seeing Andy somewhere in your home very soon. Andy boy, what's your predictions before you go?
2-0, Rice and Bowen to get the goals.
Love it, mate. I'll take that right now and into the semi-final in Seville. Have you checked your passport, Andy?
Yeah, my passport's been printed. It's on its way. It's getting delivered today, but obviously I still couldn't have got to Frankfurt, so I'll be definitely going to Seville because we're going to win Europa League.
Yes, good man. Andy boy, take it easy, mate. Thanks for joining me. Have a good one. Come on, you irons.
Take care.
If anyone else wants to come on, we've got another 15 minutes to have a chat. More than welcome. I've put the link in the chat as well. Just click that link. There was someone else joined and then jumped off while I was talking to Andy there. So if you are interested in coming on and having your quick opinion, you can. So let me jump through some of the comments here. Be good to have Dawson back. Completely agree. He has been such a centre focal point of that defence, and he's been so consistent in his performances, and it's good. I think what we'll now see is even a better performance from Dawson and even a better performance from Zuma, because Zuma obviously was coming back in as such a surprise, and I feel like that first leg, not jitters, but kicked in, and maybe that's why they were led to ball watching. So I think it'll be really key to see these two players play back to what they were doing before Zuma had got injured. Ben Rama or Lanzini to start for Thursday. Watch my preview later on and we'll go in depth about who we think will be starting. Ballon Dawson, let's remember, as good as Frankfurt were when we created chances against them, Frankfurt are Jekyll and Hyde. One week they beat Barcelona or Munich, the next they lose to poor teams. We can do this. Absolutely. We absolutely can. And the game is there to be taken. So it would absolutely, definitely. Fred is saying early goal would do wonders. It absolutely would. The ref is Swiss, I think, so he stays on the fence. Mikey, hope you're well, mate. Good to see you. Hope the kids are keeping well. Areola, Johnson, Dawson, Zuma, Creswell, Fredericks, Johnson. Fredericks and Johnson, you've got Johnson in there twice. Noble, Rice, Bowen, and Antonio. Stuart Jenkins is saying, I've got 3-1 for us, all or nothing. That's your starting 11, you think? Jack Mack is saying, loved Antonio's post-match first leg. That's the attitude you want. Absolutely, Jack. And congratulations as well for you getting to the final. Gaza says you have to play Souček for set pieces. For me, Souček has to start. I think he does all the hard work under the radar, to be honest. And he kind of gets slated for not doing the stuff he'd done in the first season, but he wasn't brought in to do the stuff he did in the first season. He was actually brought in to do what he's probably doing this season, and that doesn't sit nice with some of the fans as well. Souček hasn't been good everywhere else, though. I love him, but his form has dropped off late. I think his form, he didn't look great in the Frankfurt home leg, so I think it was right to give him the rest for Arsenal in preparation for this game. But we're going to need to rely on Souček's experience of playing in European competition, playing in international football, and that will really do us the world of good. Peter is saying need to score first. If they do, they will sit back and get us on the break. If only we had Tony Cotty at his best. Well, stay tuned because we might have Tony Cotty on here soon. And we'll let you know as soon as it does. He doesn't give up the ball very often. That's why I like Bowen so much. Absolutely. Frankfurt play quick passing. It'll be hard for Noble to keep up. Absolutely. If you are interested in coming on, 10 minutes to go to come on and have a quick chat with me, you can. That's the link there. The same person is trying to jump on but keeps getting cut off. So just click that link in the chat. I'll put it back in the chat for you again just now. Just try that if you can. And you were talking about playing Sufal as well. Stuart says Noble needs to start in the last 20 minutes for the Pens and we need Souček for his height. Chris Biggs Montana, I'm nervous, but if they play like they did in the previous two legs, we are in and we do have a good shot, and I do agree. Ballon Dawson, Haller wanted out, move on. No, absolutely. I think I'm just making the point of if we had that style of player in our team, would we be where we are right now? Haller couldn't be arsed at West Ham. Glad he's gone. Play Souček up top. I think you may see, depends on the results. So depends on the results of you know, if there's a certain scoreline and we need goals, you'll see him push further forward as well. GP, afternoon all. Hope you're well. Fred trailing. Frankfurt are good, but they are a beatable team. Need to believe it can be done. Is Handy the new Russ? No, you'll see Russ hopefully maybe tonight where we're doing the preview as well. Martin Duggan, I hope Moyes loads the bench with some young lads if we need a goal. What dreams are made of, you know. Put Perkins and Okalypse obviously can't play, but Perkins on the bench and throw him on for the last 5 minutes. Imagine the story. We need one more goal, and he goes and bangs in the goal to either take us to extra time or win the game. Haller wasn't for us. What worries me is that there's a few players that are currently out of form. Fingers crossed they find it. Stuart Jenkins and Johnson can't start. He'll get ripped a new one. Soufal needs to start. Ward-Prowse is superb. He really is. Chris says if the right offer for Souček comes in, let him go. But he is good, bringing pure defensive midfielder. Souček will start scoring again. Do you know what? When it comes to Souček and Rice, I agree with that sentiment. Teams need to be able to sell their best players in order to develop and move on. I don't want to be selling Declan Rice, but if West Ham decide to sell Declan Rice, get as much money as we possibly can, but be able to invest that money properly. West Ham have never done that before in the past. We have a bad history of investing money in players that we've earned money from. So if you take into consideration not Leicester City's current form this season, but when they sold their Kantés of the world, their Harry Maguires of the world, they learned how to invest that money properly, and that's what if West Ham do, we need to do. So £45 million comes in for Tommy Souček. Would you sell? That's the key question. Sorry, the ref and officials are Spanish, not Swiss. Martin Diggin, Haller looked sulky when he played for us. Anil says, I would play Soufal, experience over pace and youth. No Fredericks, no Johnson. Peter says, better to have two keepers on the bench or Kroll, as it is a waste of two spots. Absolutely. If the refs are Spanish, perhaps Fornals can give them a bung. Johnson looks great on the left in Europe, but Moyes will never bench Creswell. Craigs, yeah, no, I agree with you. Smash those likes up, please. Yeah, do. Please hit the thumbs up. To be fair, there shouldn't have to be team talk. The players know what to do, absolutely. But I think what Moyes will do is just be bringing the occasion together and probably letting them know the position they're in and how they've, he's a coach. He's going to do that, and absolutely. Yeah, please hit the thumbs up, Robert. Good to see you. I'm not nervous either yet. I mean, are you? How are you feeling? Are you up or down? I mean, I'm really excited, but it's the emotions are kicking in again the day before, like they did last week. But I'm confident. I'm respectfully confident, I suppose you could say. Peter, please don't bring it up. Please don't bring it up. Put my head up there and you can't see it. Get the place rocking. We would love a final. I went the last time we won the FA Cup. Wow, love that. Love that. And I hope you did. Did you go and check out the video we did with Patsy Holland last night? If you haven't, go and check it out. Great show. Really good show. If he plays cannot for this game, should not play again. It's only one goal difference. We can do this. Noble's passing range is great, and I think Noble adds that effect to the game because he doesn't have the legs as much anymore, so he has to spray those balls further forward or find them in position. Will we play two up front? I think what you'll see is probably your typical Antonio up top with Bowen on the wing, and then and if the ball's going down the left, he'll cut in. And if he's got the ball, he'll cut in as well. And he's such a threat. We've seen that in the first leg. We see that all season. We need to keep the ball more to frustrate them. Absolutely. Peter saying go 4-3-1-2. Martin Duggan is saying lots of bubbles around Seville, May 18th, if the lads do the business tonight. Absolutely. I can imagine there's going to be an influx of West Ham fans in Seville. Noble would play his heart out. He really would. Even though they're leading, let's hope they don't turn to play acting. Hopefully not. Soufal or Johnson at right back. Join me for the preview. You'll see that tonight. You would go for that as well. Anton, what do I think of Fredericks getting a start? He played good over the weekend. I think when it comes to David Moyes, he's very unpredictable sometimes. He's really unpredictable this season in particular with players that are playing. However, Soufal in his last game had a very good game. But Ben Johnson, it's harsh. You've got a player that can get forward, two players that can get forward, and two players that can defend, and probably one player that can cross the ball in better than the other. But that could be down to experience in Vladimir Soufal. So I don't know. I think Johnson is injured. No picture of him trying today. Well, we'll see. We'll see that. Soufal's coming there. Gaza, our set pieces need to be quality. They have been off the boil lately. Absolutely. Peter saying, hope the ref isn't in the piece before the game. Just got flashbacks of Roger Johnson against Man City. Let's not think about that. Will Russ or you, Anton, be going to Frankfurt? Unfortunately, not, GP. I've actually got a bit of an issue with my passport, and I didn't realize it until the other day when I looked it out. So, depends on the result tomorrow night, is depending on what stupid situation I get myself into in order to be able to make it. So, if we get to the final, I'll tell you after tomorrow what I may have to do. in order to get my passport up and running. Martin May Masuaku marking the right winger. He looked mustard. Paul Parkinson, Suchek is crying because no new contract, no trying anymore. I'm thinking we should start Antonio on the flanks, making my attacks their fullbacks with pace and power. I think there's something in that, but I don't think he'll do that for the game tomorrow unless he completely switches it up. But Moyes, second leg, trusted formation, trusted players in their trusted positions, and then taking them out of those positions and playing something new, I don't particularly see it. English Ardy, to be honest. Tomorrow, it's all about the first 20 minutes. We must start better. As long as we start better than the first minute of the first leg, because that really knocked the stuffing out of the players and the fans. And it really did. I mean, I literally sat down, made sure my son was okay, looked up, bang, they were putting the goal in the back of the net. And I was like, what happened there? Nobody expected it. And it really did throw us off guard, 100%. I'd put Antonio on the wing and JOAN up top tomorrow. We're going to bring on another guest just now. Gatesy from Force from Iron. Hope you're well. Good to see you, my man.
I've literally just finished, mate. And because I normally have my phone on Do Not Disturb, so I've literally just got your message, mate. I do apologise. I thought, oh, have I missed him?
No, no worries, mate. No worries. Well, we're only going to stay on for another kind of 10 minutes or so. So we're just having a chat about tomorrow. How are you feeling about it? I know you've just done for anyone that doesn't know, Gatesy runs Forged from Iron's West Ham channel on YouTube. So go across, make sure you hit the subscribe button there. They've just done a show. I was on having a little chin wag with everyone in the chat. So just bringing it to this channel, Gatesy, how are you feeling about the away leg tomorrow, second leg?
Oh, well, I've been here many, many times before where we've got to a point in proceedings where you sort of look and you think, could we actually do it? And on the stream that we've just done on Falls from Iron, I've just sort of referenced the FA Cup final in 06, where I was in the stand behind Pepe Reina's goal, and I turned to my best mate, and if I'm allowed to use the exact terminology, I said, quotes unquotes, we're going to win the fucking cup. And as I turned around, this ball's dropping out of the air. Steven Gerrard's running onto it, and we know what happened next. So I've got to kind of factor in all of the disappointments and all the rest of it that I had over the years. And the pessimist in me says, neither team's going to keep a clean sheet. I'm fairly confident of that. But I think it's going to be a Desmond on the night. I think it's going to be a 2-2 draw. And I think that means, obviously, we don't progress to the final. That's the pessimist in me. The optimist in me, though, says something completely different and says that we can pull off a 3-1 win, possibly after extra time. But so there's two sort of sides to it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, when I look at the first leg, Milesy was on earlier on, and we were talking about, can West Ham get at Frankfurt? And for me, we can. I think we saw enough in the first leg to know that they looked like they panicked when we attacked and when we put the pressure onto them. But there's also no denying that they're a good footballing side who can penetrate when they need to. But their form in the league hasn't been great, as you've just been discussing on your channel. And that can sometimes slip over into the competition. Now, they've gone the whole competition, winning every single game. Is that right? I think they've won. I don't think they're unbeaten. Sorry.
They're unbeaten. They haven't won all the games. Yeah,
they haven't won all the games, but they are unbeaten in the competition, which is a good thing. But West Ham seem to use the first leg as an opportunity to study the opposition. That's how I've seen it from Seville. That's how I've seen it from Lyon. And I think that's how I'm kind of judging this Frankfurt game. West Ham have got a really good knowledge now of how Frankfurt play, how they set up. Yeah. And Moyes will be working on that for the second leg. Away from home, though, it's going to be tough. But what
they don't have a great record at home, though.
Yeah.
Their record at home is quite dodgy. Let's put it like that. I mean, I was looking. I think it's one win in no wins in their last 6. Excuse me, 2 wins in their last 11, and those 2 wins were against us in the first leg and Barcelona. So they're not in rip-roaring form. That's what gives me an element of hope. The only thing that I then counterbalance that with is we're not in great form either of late.
No.
I don't know.
Equally, though, I mean, this is probably the biggest game in our modern history, as it is in Frankfurt's modern history. You know, win this game tomorrow, and the team that wins this game tomorrow goes through, or goes through to the final. of the Europa League. Both teams domestically recently haven't been performing well. You could say West Ham domestically have been doing well over the last 2 seasons.
Oh yeah.
But to be in Europe though, Gatesy, in the 4th of May, and trying to challenge for Europe in the league, you would never have predicted that from the start, would you?
I don't understand. And listen, everybody's entitled to their opinions, and that's what makes having a YouTube channel so interesting, is that there's lots of different points of view. And whilst I'm not going to agree with everybody, it's impossible. I can kind of understand most people's thinking, but I do think that sort of like of late, I mean, after the Arsenal game, there was a lot of comments that I saw on social media and all the rest of it, people getting quite negative. And yeah, all right, the match didn't go our way, and like I say, the form's not been the best in the last sort of month or so by and large. But let's just take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Like you say, we're here. It's the 4th of May. It's Star Wars Day today. The 4th of May, the 4th. And here we are. We're 7th in the Premier League, and we're in a semi-final of European competition. We could conceivably, even if we don't win it and thereby qualify for the Champions League, which would be absolutely monumental, we could qualify for European competitions in consecutive seasons for the first time in our 126-year history via a league position. Now, I know some people, the pessimists, would go, oh, yeah, but we should have qualified because we were gunning for 4th, and if we'd have brought a striker in January and da-da-da-da-da. Listen, we know that. But let's just give Moyes and his coaching staff and the players an awful lot of credit that despite the thin squad that they've got, they've managed to get this far into the season and have that in the palm of their hands. It's in their control. I'm not being funny. If we go to Carrow Road and we get the 3 points, which, let's be honest, we should, that I think will pretty much wrap up 7th spot and get us into the Conference League. And I'm not going to turn my nose up at that. I know some people would turn around and go, it's the lesser of the competitions, but we don't have a pedigree of qualifying for Europe like other teams do.
No, absolutely. And it helps with our coefficient scoring as well, because especially this season will help with our coefficients, and it brings in some much needed income. But the fact of the matter is, though, Gatesy, I think I said after the first leg against Lyon that this season, I mean, we're always a proud West Ham fan, but I really have been proud of what the team have achieved with the circumstances that we've been under, having such a small squad. Moyes has changed my mindset of how I look at football. Moyes has changed my mindset of how I look at transfers, and he's now changed my mindset completely as a West Ham fan. And I do think a lot more. I've always been quite a positive West Ham fan, but I think even more positive about the circumstances we're in, and I want us to get through, as does every single West Ham fan. However, I'll be so disappointed if we don't. But if we don't, I'll look back at that and go, thank you very much, West Ham, for giving me such a fantastic ride. Being able to go into that London stadium, hear the fans singing. I know you went away to Lyon and experienced the whole occasion. And fingers crossed we can still get that final in Seville, because there'll be thousands of us traveling over there. If I can get my passport sorted in time, Gatesy, I can't.
Oh, no. Oh, you haven't.
I have.
I've heard they're having some horrendous problems because of the COVID, sort of like the pandemic. Loads of people
I have a pure and utter backup plan.
Go on.
It's a legal plan, but it might mean that I would have to go to Dublin and get an Irish passport through my mum. So
have they not got the same problem then?
Well, it's that you can get an appointment on the day as quicker than you can for the UK one, but you have to keep checking the UK one every day and try and get an appointment. But anyway, if you are thinking about doing it, please look at your passport and don't do the mistake that I've done. I'm going to try everything in
3 months, doesn't it, or something?
3 months after the day you return home. So yeah, we'll get there. Anyway, Gatesy, we're going to round it up, mate. What's your predictions for the game?
As I say, my pessimistic side says 2-2. My optimistic side says 3-1 to West Ham. Fuck it. We're going to do it 3-1. We're going to do it 3-1. We're going to Seville. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it, mate. Let's absolutely do it. Gatesy, thank you for joining us. If you are new around here and you've never seen Gatesy before, Forged from Iron on the YouTube channel. I've put the link in the chat. Let me see if I can go back up and find it. Here it is here. Click that link. You can go and subscribe
You're a
to all the
gentleman.
content that they
Thank
do
you.
as well. Gatesy, thanks very much for joining us, mate. Stay
Not a
safe and
problem.
enjoy the game tomorrow evening.
Will do, mate. Take care.
Yeah, take it easy, mate. Bye-bye. Brilliant, everyone. Loads of people in the chat. Really good to have some people coming on here. Rich Mushroom Man is saying, once we level the tie, I think our counter-attacking will see us through as Frankfurt push for a winner. I completely agree with you there. No Gaza will be singing on a stage. Look at the Europa League record, no loss at home. Their noise of their fans is intimidating, but it's what happens on the pitch. Absolutely. But if they do go a goal down, they can get on their back, and they've been known to do that as well. Martin is saying we should treat it as a final. We have nothing to lose other than us falling asleep in the first minute. Last week the teams were even. Shoulda, woulda, coulda sums up as a club. Sadly, Wolves have collapsed last 2 months, and even West Ham wins Europa League. We can't get Europe out of top 7. Happens same with Spain this season. We won't get a single Conference League. Tovar, good evening. Good to see you, mate. Paul is saying no way we'll beat Norwich City. Never. I live there. They should know that. All because they're still in the EU. Green Street Elites from BUDGIE away at Lyon. There wasn't a club team in Europe that were beating West Ham. Absolutely. Gaza, we have to realise that we were 2 years ago. I completely agree with you. Usual suspect. I'm like an alcoholic. Once you get a taste of Europe, you want it more and more. There you go. So that brings us to an end of today's show. If you are interested in becoming a subscriber, just click the link. You'll see it. Not that. Don't click that link. There's an option that says subscribe. So subscribe to the channel. Hit the thumbs up. That's to let us know that you've liked the show. Also, there's an option to join if you're interested in becoming a channel member. You can look at the membership program as well. 5 o'clock, Hammer's Headlines. Make sure you join us for that. We're talking about some of the 3 big stories, or some of the stories that have come out from the headlines of West Ham today. 9 p.m. tonight, we do have an away Frankfurt fan coming on, talking to us about the game ahead, and we'll get some of your points of views as well as we move forward. Thank you for joining us. If you are on your way out to Frankfurt now, be safe. I've seen images, I've seen pictures. There's loads of views out there. It looks quality. Have a great atmosphere. Enjoy yourself. Stay safe. Support West Ham. Sing as loud as you possibly can. And fingers crossed, we're off to Seville. Check those passports. Make sure they're in date as well. Come on, your irons. Thanks for joining us.
It's like a family tree. All of you.